All right. So, when I think about our next speaker, Mr. Brady, Kevin Brady, I think about a lot of things, but in keeping with our theme tonight, I do think about the Olympics as well. And when I think about Mr. Brady and the Olympics, I think about baseball. Much like baseball is missing from the Olympics this summer, Mr. Brady will always be missed as a very active and dear member of the trade community, at least on the Hill. So it is rumored, however, that baseball may be making a return to the Olympics in the near future. So we'll see if Mr. Brady decides to make a return. I know that many people in this room would love to see that. Kevin Brady served in Congress for 26 years. During that time, he was an all-around workhorse for trade and economic policy. In 2005, Brady was a chief supporter of the Dominican Republic Central America Free Trade Agreement, working with the Bush administration to secure passage. In 2011, Brady also voted for free trade agreements with South Korea, Colombia, and Panama. USMCA got across the finish line because of a lot of people in this room, including Mr. Brady.
And the team.
And many other people in this room. As former chair of the House Ways and Means Committee, Joint Economic Committee, and the Joint Committee on Taxation, talk about a man whose entire career on Capitol Hill was focused on the team and getting the job done, and doing what's right for our nation. Thank you, Mr. Brady, for inserting the baseball spirit into trade policy. We have a bracelet for you as well. Mr. Brady, if you can come up to the stage, we would love to present you with your bracelet. So Mr. Brady's bracelet says USMCA. Maybe he can hold his wrist up to show you.
Yeah.
Although there was a lot we could have put on yours.
Thank you. Caitlin, thank you so much for the friendship bracelets. I love, as you do, being here at Trade Prom. There's something special about those who love trade, coming from every direction, and the impact it has on Americans, on the world, on economic freedom. And I think WITA and the foundation play such an iconic role throughout the decades in bringing us together, not just one night a year, but on the issues of trade policy throughout the year. So Ken, to the WITA board and the foundation board, thank you again for your continued leadership. Yeah, it is really so super. And Earl Blumenauer, you will be missed, my friend. I've loved serving with you on the Ways and Means Committee. You're a serious legislator, and you are firm in your beliefs. You learn a lot about people serving with them over the years. Where Earl and I are tied together forever is that it turns out Earl can bake a mean fruitcake, and I'm the guy that eats it. Let me just tell you, don't tell anyone we love fruitcake, but yeah, every holiday season I could count on a visit, and that snack lasted about half an hour, at our house. So Earl, thank you for your leadership throughout the years. Thank you. It's great too to see our old Ways and Means friend, Senator and Ambassador Rob Portman. And congratulations to Senator Coons for your leadership as well. Rob, you are such a dear friend. So whether in politics or entertainment, will it play in Peoria has long been a proxy for whether a product or a person will appeal to hardworking middle-class Americans. The belief is if it is successful there, it can succeed anywhere. Well, our honoree, our friend Darin LaHood, is a proud son of Peoria. He was born and raised in a congressional district that thrives because of international trade. It's home to leading U.S. companies in agriculture that creates jobs, increased paychecks, opportunities for American workers all throughout our country. And going with this Olympic theme, I think I should probably share with you as well, our honoree secretly hopes to be named the head coach of the U.S. soccer team. And don't deny it, Darin. But from his very first days in Congress, and certainly on the Ways and Means Committee, Darin just dove into trade policy, understanding it's not enough to merely buy American, we need to sell American to every corner of the world. He's been an outspoken champion for tearing down trade barriers and leveling the playing field for American workers and farmers, and whether it's in the customer-rich Asia-Pacific, Europe, or with our valued USMCA partners. He knows America has to lead in a bipartisan way the world on trade, and he knows we can't afford to sit on the sidelines as our foreign competitors aggressively craft trade agreements that advantage their workers over ours. He's a guardian of American interests here and at the WTO, whether it's intellectual property or e-commerce, and he insists on full and equal enforcement of our trade agreements. What makes him special is that he never shies away from complex or sensitive issues, leading on so many of these, including the charge to incorporate digital trade standards for our GSP-eligible countries. He and our beloved colleague, Jackie Walorski, were champions in insisting on a workable 301 exclusion process to ensure that innocent U.S. businesses and their workers aren't punished by overbroad tariffs. Our honoree never seeks the headlines, but in the trade world, we know what his contributions are. And I think we are all so impressed with his behind-the-scenes leadership at the China Select Committee to educate lawmakers on America's complex trade relationship with China so that their policy recommendations are targeted and thoughtful. I had the honor to serve on the Ways and Means Committee with Darin, and I know firsthand he is really what you hope for in an elected leader. He is smart, he is substantive, he is hardworking, and he is a statesman. So I am extremely proud to present the WITA Congressional Leadership Award for 2024 to our friend and our trade champion, the Honorable Darin LaHood. And so, Darin's friendship bracelet reads, Digital Trade. Here you go.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you. Well, thank you, Kevin, for that wonderful and very thoughtful introduction. And let me just thank WITA for this award tonight. I want to thank the members here. I had an opportunity to be at the reception, and so many great people here that have been so engaged on trade, and so helpful to me in my time in Congress. And so thank you all so very much for the opportunity to be here. We miss Kevin Brady in Congress, right? Did a remarkable job. Now, in talking to Kevin, I don't think he misses us. I think he's very happy where he's at, and we're happy that he continues to advocate for the core issues that he believes so strongly in. And Earl, we're going to miss you on the Ways and Means Committee. It was interesting when Kevin was talking about the fruitcakes that Earl, I always thought there was cannabis in those, so I never ate those, Earl. So anyway, but maybe I need to now. Exactly. But anyway, thank you so much for the opportunity to be here tonight in this award. I also want to acknowledge Senator Chris Coons on an awardee tonight. It's an honor to be sharing this award with him tonight. He is a statesman and somebody that we need more of in the U.S. Senate. I had the opportunity to travel with Chris earlier this year in Europe and think the world of him, and glad he's being honored tonight. It's an honor to receive the Congressional Leadership Award this evening, recognizing our work during my time in Congress to advocate for robust, free, and fair trade throughout the world. As many of you know, I am proud to serve as the representative for the 16th Congressional District. Kevin mentioned Peoria. Most of my district is rural, includes central and northwestern Illinois. It's a large agricultural district and manufacturing. I border Iowa and Wisconsin to the north, and I have portions of the Mississippi and Illinois River that run through my district. My district also has a rich political history. It's home to the Congressional District of Abraham Lincoln. Ulysses S. Grant lived there for a long time after the Civil War. And of course, Ronald Reagan was born in my district. So that's not a lot to live up to as a Republican coming from the 16th Congressional District. But all of those presidents understood the importance of promoting our democratic values and the role of U.S. leadership around the world. Trade plays a vitally important role in the lives of my constituents, who rely heavily on exports of corn, soybeans, tractors, excavators, and mining equipment, as well as a vibrant inland waterway system to get our products transported around the globe to markets and customers. Without opportunities for free trade, many of our businesses in central and northern Illinois and our local economy would be negatively impacted. Throughout my time in Congress, I have consistently worked to push for more market access for our farmers, manufacturers, and small businesses who depend on the opening of new markets and commercial opportunities to remain competitive in an ever-evolving global economy. I was proud to work alongside Kevin Brady and others to shape the negotiations and secure overwhelmingly bipartisan congressional approval of USMCA, one of the most consequential things we did during the previous administration. Modernizing NAFTA and bringing it into the 21st century, especially within the digital trade chapter, was a win for our economy, leveling the playing field and increasing our competitiveness. While views around trade policy have certainly evolved on both sides of the aisle over my time in Congress, I think it is still imperative to view trade as an important mechanism to support our economic interests and national security interests around the globe. Like many in this room, I care deeply about the need for a substantive trade agenda and remain concerned about the future of a robust trade policy that keep our businesses and workers competitive. We must look closely at how our trade and economic policies are viewed abroad by both our partners and allies and our adversaries. I've been disappointed in recent years that we have failed to renew and utilize many of our trade tools, and what I see as working in a less substantive way with our like-minded allies. As a member of the Ways and Means Committee, Trade Subcommittee, and the co-chair of the Digital Trade Caucus, I believe our work to advance substantive, forward-looking trade policy is critical now more than ever. The U.S. must utilize new trade agreements, enforce current trade agreements, reauthorize programs including GSP, MTB, focus on reforms to the WTO and other multinational institutions. We can clap for that, yeah. And we need to put a strong emphasis on leading and setting digital trade policy as tools to further our global agenda to push back against malign activities of our non-market economies. We cannot retreat as a global leader. This will only embolden our adversaries in Beijing, Tehran, and Moscow. I also serve on the House Intelligence Committee and the Select Committee on China. I believe the biggest challenge that the United States faces is the evolving relationship with China. And I give a lot of credit to Kevin McCarthy at the time putting together the Select Committee on China in a bipartisan way. We had over 100 Democrats that supported the creation of it. And it is maybe the most bipartisan thing we'll do this Congress. We need to take a hard look at the many policy concerns regarding U.S.-China relations and the growing implications of our economy and national security. While both are important, I believe we are going to win the strategic competition against China on the economic front, and a strong trade policy will help to accomplish that. The United States can and should work with our partners and allies to push back on the challenges that we see from the Belt and Road Initiative, the Digital Silk Road, and the digital manipulation and IP theft from China. We must also address the distortion of our global multinational institutions and find ways to promote the United States as the best choice for countries seeking markets and opportunities for global investment. Our like-minded allies in the Indo-Pacific region are craving our American leadership on trade. And if the United States fails to lead, China is ready to step in and further its authoritarian agenda. As we look at the remainder of this Congress and the next, I am committed to continuing to work together on trade with members on both sides of the aisle on the Ways and Means Committee to make our country stronger and more competitive. And as I think about our Olympic theme tonight, we need to go for the gold when it comes to trade, this Congress and next Congress. In closing, I can't tell you how honored I am to be here tonight to receive this award. I want to thank everybody here tonight for your attendance. I want to thank WITA for the work they continue to do in presenting me with this award. And I look forward to continuing to work with all of you. Thank you very much. By the way, I was wondering, these bracelets we got tonight, is there any way we can get 435 of those? They may help with our trade agenda.